All right, it's time for an upgrade in the 3D printing business. My Etsy store is working well enough that I can afford to upgrade my Dreamer NX to a Guider II, and I just put the Dreamer NX box on top of the Guider II box. So Guider II looks a lot bigger, but it's not really as big as you might think. It's a lot taller, but it's not, overall it's not that much bigger. It should still fit on the desk here. So you can see I have two NX printers. I'll go into that in a second here. And that's another reason why I upgraded. So this will be a little bit bigger. I'll have the door oriented this way, so it'll be easier to work with instead of being on the side. And although I guess I could have done that anyway. Never thought of that for some reason. In any case, it should still fit on the desk here. And the reason I have two is this one, it's a little hard to see, but this one, the heater core decided to give up the ghost and started, well, it failed. The heater core failed about a month ago, and this is actually my second printer, and the one on the desk over there is the third of these Dreamer NXs I've gotten. And the heater core for the second printer stopped working, so I took the heater core out of the first printer, which was still okay, I thought. Plugged it in here, and it was working for another month or so, and then it decided to stop working. And you can see, it's hard to see, but you can see there's some shorting in here and burning. So I bought another printer as a backup, another NX printer when it was on sale for only $2.99, which is a good deal. And I pulled that out and started, was able to keep working. Then I started thinking, well, maybe I need to buy another one. And so I've been printing about 2.5 years, and these seem to last about a year. I'm printing 10 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much, unless I'm on vacation. So with 3,000 to 4,000 hours, they seem to give up the ghosts. Usually it's up in this area with these little fiddly plugs here. And the problem is you can't buy spare parts that include the plugs. Like the heater core comes with just bare wire, so I'd have to source this plug, which I'm sure I could eventually. I could figure out what plug this was and use a new heater core. But I decided, well, maybe it's time to upgrade to something. Since my store is doing well enough, I have over 500 sales now, I can afford to upgrade to a higher quality machine. And I looked at a bunch of the different ones that are out there, the Adventurer and a couple other ones, but the Guider II seemed to be the best bet for me because it has the same printhead as this, which I'm really familiar with. I know how to work with, but it's a lot higher quality. It doesn't have it has metal bearings here apparently, which I'll get into that later once I open it up. But these have plastic sleeve bearings, which eventually get noisy, and I've had to use a lot of lubricant to keep them from squeaking too much. So I'm hoping this one will last. It says it's supposed to last 6,000 hours. That's at least a couple of years, and I'm just hoping it'll be less trouble. Also, it's a bigger printer, so I can print more at a time. So I'll have less intervention. So when I'm printing products for sale, like when I'm printing my coins, I can print about 12 coins on this surface, which is pretty good because then the prints last 2 or 3 hours, so I can go do something else while I'm waiting. But the new printer has about twice the surface area. That means I can instead of having 4 prints a day, I can have 2 prints, and I can then have less time I have to spend at the printer. I can be doing lots of other things, which my life is complicated enough. I have other things to do than work on a 3D printer. So I'm hoping that's going to increase productivity and less hassle. Now, of course, the longer the print, the more danger there is if you have a power failure or some other problem that your prints fail. So that's an issue. You don't want your prints going too long, or else when they stop, then you got to start over again. Well, the good news is with the Guider II, it has a restart feature where if the power goes out, you should be able to restart the print where it last left off. Now, that's not necessarily going to work perfectly, but it should, for what I'm doing when I'm printing multiple items of the same thing. One item may get messed up if it stops in the middle of it, but at least the other ones should print fine. So Anyway, we'll see how that works out over time. And or the other upgrade is I got a microphone for my camera. So now my sound quality should be a lot better on all my videos going forward. So we'll see how it works, and hopefully that'll be an upgrade too. All right, so let's unbox this thing and we'll see what's inside. All right, here we go. We got our box cutter, and we'll just open this up. All right, so it's got styrofoam packing on top, as you expected. Hopefully this will lift out, yeah. It's way down the sides, which is good. Here's the printer. It should have some handles on it somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, there's handles on the side. Let's see what else we got here on top here first. So we got a quick start guide with a thumb drive. I'm kind of suspicious of thumb drives from China, so I may not use this, but we'll see. I don't think I need to use it. Oh, if I only plug it in this, I'm probably safe. So, all right, so we got that. Got another piece of styrofoam on top here. So it looks like, get this open. It's like the other printers, the top is not on here, which makes sense because the top from the pictures, it goes way up in the height, so it can let the filament go in from the top. So there's no top on it right now. So this comes out. Some more padding to keep the print head from moving around. There's our first view of the print head. So we'll get a little closer here. And it's got this plastic clip to keep it from moving around, which is good. And again, it's got handles on each side. So I got my back brace on. Lift this up because it is pretty heavy, so I forget exactly how much it weighs. I guess we'll find out. So oh yeah, this is heavy, okay. All right. Yeah, I have to lift it up, so hopefully. All right, so I guess that weighs about, I'd say at least 50 pounds. So yeah, so be careful when you lift it up. Top is inside. Yeah, top is inside, so not sure how we get that out. Maybe through the front door, we'll see. Let's turn it around. Here's the front door. It's protected by a lot of plastic covering so it doesn't get scratched. Yeah, so up on top here is the touch screen. All right, now let's see if we can get the top out. It's a puzzle. How do you get the top out? Okay. It'll come out through the top. Okay, so it comes out through the top. Yeah, it came out through the top. So here's the top. Also well protected. So this is good. It keeps the noise down, it keeps the dust out, it keeps the heat in if you're printing something warm. Something that needs warm conditions like PTG or ABS. All right, there's the top. So the top goes on like this, I believe. Looks like it snaps in place. Yeah. All right, so there's the top. Let's take a look. Here's the top in place, and because the filament comes in from the back here, goes into this little slot. Feeds into the top of the print head. So let's look on the side. So it's got a QR code for tutorial videos. That's pretty handy, like that. It's got some holes in the back, which is interesting. Something has a fan to pull air in. I'm not seeing that right now. Here's the plug down here and the power switch. the other side, we have some information. So, yeah, so remove the lid from printing PLA. That what I do is if it's over 70 degrees, I take the top off of the Dreamer. If it's between 60 and 70, I leave the top on and just prop it up on this little bumps here. And I leave the door closed in both cases. If it gets over 80, then I open the door and leave the top off. So probably something similar with this. I will, it's the same print head, so it should act similarly. Let's take a look inside. So again, the print surface is quite a bit bigger, twice as big. It's not as long though. I mean, it's not as wide. The Dreamer NX has a 230 millimeter wide, which some of my prints I do that. I'm pretty sure I'll show some tests. I'll show some stuff I printed to make sure it fits in there. But I think for the stuff that's long, if I just rotate it, it'll print this way on this, because this is 195 by 195 if I remember correctly. So, okay, so remove the wrapping film before printing. That sounds like a good idea. And I think we have to plug it in to actually. This is a much more rigid Z-axis than the other one. So this is like a cast aluminum here in back. So as opposed to very thin steel in the Dreamer. And then it's also, I believe it's got metal bearing, roller bearings up here on top. Let's take the top off. I believe these bearings right here are metal, like with ball bearings, hopefully. They could be metal sleeve bearings, that's possible. And then here's the print head. It's well enclosed. And the other difference is on the bottom, surrounding the nozzle, there's a heat shield. That's something I didn't know until just recently. So I've been using, I see the heat shield, yeah. So I guess I'm not going to be using a silicone sock anymore, because this fits very snugly around the nozzle, and there must be a gap between the print head and this metal heat shield here. So I guess we're out of it. We don't need to buy any more silicone socks, so that's good. As far as the actual moving mechanism, it moves the head around. It's very similar it's very similar to the Dreamer, which that was one of the complaints about some of the other ones, was that, like I think the Adventurer, the belts that move the head around one person had tensioning problems, and a bunch of reported problems with the other printers that were between this price and the Dreamer NX. The Dreamer NX list price is $399. This is $999, but I got it for $799 on Prime Day. And I think, of course, this video is coming out later, but as the Flashforge is running a Halloween sale. This is 2022 Halloween for $799. So they just announced the Guider III. So this is the Guider II. There's a Guider 2S that can go up to 300 degrees C print head. It has some other features, which I'll talk about later. And they just introduced the Guider 3. So the Guider 2S, I think, is like $1,400. So I don't need the high temperature, so I didn't consider that one. But the Guider 3 is, again, a high temperature system, and it's got a much bigger print head bed. I think it's 250 by 300, something like that, or 200 by 250. Anyway, it's bigger than this one. So I don't need anything that big, and I don't need anything that expensive. So I'll get these clips off and some other things, and we'll plug it in. So I think we can move the print bed up and get this rest of this styrofoam out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.